Isabelle Adjani, 19, became a French film legend after playing Adele. She was the first actress to win 5 Cesar Awards and a symbol of otherworldly beauty with her timeless face and eyes. But beneath that beauty is a broken life. Due to AIDS rumors, she disappeared. Photographers shunned her at Cannes, a lover departed after finding she was pregnant, her marriage ended, her career suffered, and a tax evasion allegation turned public sentiment against her. Isabelle Adjani went from cinematic goddess to icon of pain. How did she withstand such unimaginable turmoil? Isabelle Adjani was born in Paris' 17th arrondissement on June 27, 1955. Her childhood wasn't like Paris's gorgeous fairy tales. She was the daughter of Algerian father Mohamed Sharif Adjani, a former French soldier, and Bavarian mother Emma Augusta Schweinberger. They met in WWI's closing days. He loved her deeply, and she left her nation to accompany him to Paris despite not speaking French. Cultural divides, religious unease, and emotional insecurity strained their relationship. Her mother persuaded her father change his name from Mohamed to Sharif because it sounded more American. Isabelle was raised in Gennevilliers, a working-class district northwest of Paris. She lived between opposing worlds, her Algerian father's colonial trauma-scarred conservatism. On the other, her German mother's strictness. She spoke French and German fluently but never felt at home. As a mixed-race child, she crossed ethnicity, language, and identification lines. Isabelle was never timid as a youngster. Perhaps acting helped her live many different lives, lives she could choose and lives that might be understood. She was stubborn, obstinate, and strong from childhood. After winning a school poetry recitation contest age 12, she first performed on stage to play any character she wanted. Her family was poor. Her father worked in an auto repair garage while her mother did all the housework. Her younger brother, Eric Adjani, became a photographer. They were inseparable, sharing things grown-ups couldn't know. Eric died of a heart attack at 53 on February 2010. It broke Isabelle. She termed his death a permanent wound and still cried when she mentioned him years later. Isabelle's childhood was quiet suffering. From her parents' marital problems, identity turmoil, never feeling French enough to be accepted, and the constant question, who am I? Despite her fame, she couldn't answer it. Isabelle Adjani didn't study acting, but she transformed into other women, living for them, feeling for them, and healing herself. Art seems to have picked her from the start. Her career began with a modest role in Le Petit Buna at 14 in 1970. She played Rosa, who loves a cold delivery boy. Her deep, watery look and nuanced expressions impressed director Bernard Tablin-Michel on her first screen appearance, but her major cinema roles would accidentally eclipse her amazing theatrical origins. Because Isabelle Adjani was found on stage, not film. Few young performers achieve what Adjani did at 17 in 1972. She joined the Comme des Françaises, France's top theater group. She impressed even the most demanding theatrical voices despite failing the conservatoire entrance exam, the typical doorway for professional performers. Isabelle made an impact there soon. She wowed audiences as Ondine, a water nymph passionately in love with a mortal, in Jean Giraudoux' play. Several memorable performances followed. The dazzling 17-year-old Agnes in Jean-Paul Rousseau's The School for Wives, Strindberg's Miss Julie, and Molière's The Miser stand out in a conservative and traditional setting. 2 years later, she left Comédie Française in the height of her theatrical success to focus on film. La Gifle, Claude Pinotot's 1974 film, was her first mainstream hit. The genuine turning point occurred when François Truffaut, the French New Wave hero, saw her in the film and stated, "That's Adèle Hugo I've been looking for 5 years." France was shocked when he offered her her first leading role at 19 in Adèle H in 1975. After becoming Adèle Hugo, daughter of literary giant Victor Hugo, Isabelle fell into infatuation, hallucination, and psychiatric collapse. She performed the character with great interiority, physical presence, and emotional severity, surpassing expectations for a 19-year-old. Media called her the face of a new era. Isabelle Adjani won her first César Award and was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress for the performance. Critics termed it revolutionary acting, and famed New Yorker critic Pauline Kael considered it exceptional. She held the record for nearly 30 years as the youngest candidate in that category. Keisha Castle-Hughes, a 13-year-old whale rider nominee, broke the record on February 2004. Isabelle Adjani approached Hollywood after becoming a global phenomenon with Adèle H. She turned down several offers and declared that Hollywood is a mythical metropolis, but she took a role in Walter Hill's 1978 film The Driver out of admiration for hard times. She played a cold, secretive, unnamed woman in the film. The picture failed in the US but grossed over 1,100,000 in France. She then appeared in Werner Herzog's frightening adaptation of Nosferatu the Vampire 1979. Both German and English versions were filmed, and Roger Ebert commended Herzog for capturing Adjani's uncanny look. Adjani proved indispensable in 1981. A remarkable double win at Cannes, she won Best Actress for Quartet and Possession that year. Adjani sacrificed her thoughts and body for Possession, 1981. She and Sam Neill played a dissolving couple during the Cold War. The most terrifying scene was in a subway tunnel. Anna yells, falls, and vomits slime and blood. After 2 takes, Adjani isolated herself, locked herself up, and tried suicide with a knife. Though unsuccessful, it was the clearest evidence of a famous performance's cost. The picture was not merely horror. Anna won her first Cesar Award. It unearthed primordial impulse and human suffering. Adjani reappeared in 1983 with One Deadly Summer, playing a seductive, violent, vengeful lady. The drama was a hit and earned her a second César. Adjani's album Pull Marine, with Serge Gainsbourg, sold over 1 million copies that year, and Luc Besson's music video made her a new French cinema icon. She peaked artistically and emotionally with Camille Claudel in 1988. Adjani starred, co-produced, and studied sculpture for the role. She and Gerard Depardieu reenacted Camille Claudel and Auguste Rodin's sad love story. The historical background and sophisticated feminine image in Lorraine Margot, 1994, awarded Adjani her 4th César. The film's epic tone, brutality, and feminist imagery showed Adjani's versatility. After 8 years, Adjani returned with Skirt Day in February 2009. Her performance as a mentally disturbed vocational school instructor was shocking and impressive. Isabelle Adjani goes beyond admiration. The film earned her a 5th César, the most ever for a French actress. She's a wound artist. From Adele Hugo to Camille Claudel, from Skirt Day's instructor to the wife in Possession, every performance leaves a psychological scar on the viewer and herself. Adjani doesn't pick star roles. She makes them bleed. Her acting is predicated on instinct, empathy, and true pain, not method. In France, Catherine Deneuve represents elegance and Juliette Binoche intellectual femininity. But Isabelle Adjani is exquisite instability, a sparkling crack in French cinema. Success never shields heart. Isabelle Adjani gave birth to her first son, Barnaby Said Newton, at 24 in 1979, the result of her relationship with cinematographer Bruno Newton. A unique bond. Without noise, vows, or wedding bands, yet intimately connected in art and spirit. Bruno knew light. Isabelle knew shadow. They fused in the frame but couldn't stay together. They never married. "I don't need a ring to call someone I love," remarked Adjani. After Barnaby's birth, she discreetly withdrew to raise him, rejecting many positions to preserve one intact piece in a damaged life. The distance between the artists gradually expanded, cooled, and terminated. Paradoxically, Adjani invited Bruno Newton to direct Camille Claudel, which required her to learn sculpture and play a woman driven mad by love and abandonment. Camille Claudel huddles alone in a dark studio, whispering to the darkness like a lover. Many think Camille and Isabelle spoke to Bruno. Isabelle Adjani dated Warren Beatty, Hollywood's most famous and charming leading man, in the mid-1980s. She represented introspective, melancholy French cinema, and their meeting was a cultural crossroads. He, the seductive alpha of American cinematic stardom, had crushed the hearts of the industry's most famous ladies. Adjani entered Beatty's world. She joined him in Morocco to film the 1987 epic comedy Ishtar, directed by Elaine May and starring Dustin Hoffman. American critics panned the picture, which became one of Beatty and Adjani's worst failures. Isabelle Adjani's inability to tell if she was loving a man or supporting him wounded her more than the artistic failure. Warren Beatty had short romances. Adjani, like countless women before her, understood she wasn't alone. No formal goodbye, just a discreet retreat. After losing hope in love, she returned to France. In the twilight of that decade, fate led her to Daniel Day-Lewis, who finally felt like home. At her peak, Isabelle Adjani met Daniel Day-Lewis, the Oscar-winning British actor for My Left Foot, in 1989. He was dedicated to his art and had a cool, enigmatic charisma Hollywood had never seen. France's most famous actress, known for her ethereal beauty and brilliant performances, led a secluded existence, opening her heart only when she believed in destiny. She thought Daniel was her destiny. They lived together for 6 years. Isabelle gave him her heart and soul even though they never married. In addition, she loved Daniel's son from a previous marriage as her own. They were a family to her, without a legal certificate but full of love and sacrifice. Daniel loved her too, or at least he wrote Isabelle wax-sealed love letters as if they lived in a romantic age. She trusted him and believed long-term. She never thought love would end so cruelly. Isabelle discovered her pregnancy with Daniel's child in 1995. She waited for the man she assumed was the father of her pregnant child's response, hoping it would enhance their love without wedding vows. Instead of celebrating the baby, she received a cold fax dissolving the relationship. Daniel left France and disappeared before their son was born. Isabelle delivered Gabriel Cain de Lewis alone in humiliation and anguish, without a phone call or presence in the delivery room. As if the pain wasn't deep enough, Daniel de Lewis married Rebecca Miller, the daughter of Arthur Miller, in a covert U.S. ceremony months later. The press only found out afterward. Tamison de Lewis, Daniel's sister, told the journalists it was a modest, private family wedding. His joy is real. Isabelle saw the wedding as a death sentence to her family aspirations. She told the press that the Daniel I loved might just exist in my imagination. I cannot accept him now, but I will never forget that I loved him. Her betrayal went further. She was abandoned, pregnant, and vulnerable. She lost her partner, family, and trust like a pail of freezing water dumped in her face. She has reared Gabriel Cain de Lewis alone, staring at his father in magazines with a scar that never healed. A silent, unapologetic father who never glanced at his son. The public considers Daniel a wonderful actor. Isabelle, once France's most beautiful lady, is a mother who held her greatest love and had to bury it. Isabelle Adjani thought she was safe after Daniel de Lewis abandoned her via a soulless fax, but she was incorrect. In the early 2000s, she dated Jean-Michel Jarre, the electronic artist who shocked the world with Oxygen Intelligent, Comme Jarre. Although his rushing past scared her, Adjani believed. In February 2004, they engaged. A wedding was scheduled for August. Jarre was in London writing a new album when Isabelle appeared on Paris Match's cover with a surprising revelation on a June morning. I was wrong to trust him. No. I'm better off not getting married in August. Adjani called off the engagement and publicly accused Jarre of infidelity with Nikita Star in Périault. She said her undeniable evidence destroyed her. Ciara's infidelity may have contributed to Charlotte Rampling's despair, according to Adjani. This breakup was unusual. A lady who had been abandoned and injured too many times responded with frigid clarity and unrepentant strength. He was virtually speechless. He stopped talking to the press for weeks before being caught in London. He replied with a steely line. Feeling no guilt. We weren't married. Never had kids. The story was unimportant. Isabelle was my partner for 1.5 years. In the last 6 months, we were almost apart. While Jarre claimed that his relationship with and Paraleo began after his breakup with Adjani, the public saw only one thing. Isabelle Adjani was abandoned again before her wedding. She informed France this time. Worse, in his next album, Arrow, Jarre used an image of Perillo's eyes staring intensely for the whole 75-minute DVD, as if this new love proved Adjani was the past. Isabelle Adjani twice rejected marriage out of sadness. In addition to losing a guy, she lost her trust, pride, and belief in perfect love. Isabelle Adjani became more reclusive and avoided the media after Daniel de Lewis and Jean-Michel Jarre's soul-deep wounds. A new man entered her lives during these quiet years. In February 2004, Stéphane Deladjou, the Doctor of Stars, began dating Adjani. Despite his anonymity, he exuded calm assurance and achievement. Isabelle Adjani found calm in Deladjou's arms, at least temporarily. They were together nearly 5 years, longer and more stable than most. No scandals, no wedding. But silence piqued media interest. In February 2008, they discreetly split. The cause was unknown, and neither side took responsibility. After their relationship, Isabelle Adjani never openly loved again. In the midst of her personal turmoil, Isabelle Adjani faced additional difficulties from the law, media, and public trust. After decades of a clean reputation, Isabelle Adjani made news in 2023 for a surprising court conviction, a suspended 2-year prison term for tax evasion and money laundering. The Paris court found that Adjani moved to Portugal from February 2016 to February 2017 to evade a €236,000 tax bill. To avoid taxes, she neglected to register a €120,000 deposit into a U.S. bank account and allegedly disguised a $2 million donation from Senegalese businessman Mamadou Diagna Ndiaye as a loan. This went beyond money. The loan's originator, Mamadou Diagna Diallo, was Gabriel Cain de Lewis' godfather. The case was more sensitive and controversial due to personal and financial relationships. Olivier Pardo, Adjani's lawyer, vigorously disputed the verdict. He said his client was denied a postponement and could not testify in court. He forcefully told Variety they are relentlessly following her. Adjani faced financial investigation before in February 2016. The Panama Papers listed her as a shareholder in Deckard Investments Limited, a British Virgin Islands offshore company. Her purported transfer of €119,000 to an unidentified recipient in February 2014 prompted the French National Financial Prosecutor's Office to investigate later that year. Adjani also faces a lawsuit from a former strategic advisor to Asia Films, which prompted another probe in 2020. She was accused of using the company's credit card to charge over €364,000 in personal charges in 13 months. Adjani countersued embezzlement. Despite mounting criticism, Isabelle Adjani maintained her innocence. She claimed the €2 million from NDI was a valid loan and that she was repaying it. She blamed her production company's mismanagement and dishonesty and years of emotional agony. Though she maintained she didn't care about money, the public and authorities saw otherwise. She has continued to work on important projects, from Netflix shows to foreign films, but the February 2023 trial remains a stain on her career and her image as a French cinema star. Her personal turmoil, heartbreaks at the altar, and legal controversies never dimmed Isabelle Adjani's artistic brilliance from childhood. In that light, she created a lasting impact for French and international cinema. In a historic feat, she was the first French actress to receive 2 Oscar nominations. Even today, she is the only woman to win 5 Cesar Awards for Best Actress. However, Adjani's impact goes beyond numbers. She changed the French cinematic image of women. Not just ethereal fancies or objects of desire. Like Camille Claudel, Anna in Possession, and Margot in Lorraine Margot, her characters had psychological depth, wounds, revolt, madness, and passion. Isabelle Adjani, a French film star for 50 years, continues. In her 70s, she still appears in new projects, quietly asserting that her artistic career has never ended. The 72nd Berlin International Film Festival opened with her as Sidonie von Grassenab and Peter von Kant in 2022. Adjani returned to music a year later with Pascal Obispo-produced Band Original, 40 years after Poolmarine. She also appeared in Melanie Laurent's Netflix action flick Wing Women and Nicole Kidman and Liev Schreiber's global project The Perfect Couple. They suffered because they felt more than others, not weakness. Isabelle Adjani's passion to art inspired actresses to sacrifice pieces of themselves for a performance, regardless of the psychological toll. Adjani is noted for her talent and her haunting beauty, inherited from Algerian and German bloodlines and sculpted like a neoclassical statue from melancholy light. Isabelle Adjani is a unique bilingual artist who can bridge European cultures, speaking French, German, English, and Italian. She appeared in Christophe's song video Ou tu ne m'attendais de pas in February 2024 and confirmed her involvement in Kiss 'Em Levant, a miniseries set to air in February 2025. Not finished. Adjani played Mona in Noémie Salio's comedy Natasha Prescott's de l'air in early 2250, her first modern comedy role. She made her first theater engagement since Marie Stuart in February 2006 with Les Mercenaires de l'Homme at the Festival de Carcassonne that year. Isabelle Adjani pursues her art discreetly, persistently, and defiantly despite personal and legal issues. She shows that brilliance doesn't wane with age, even if many of her peers have retired. Transformational skill, ethereal beauty, and a spirit that immerses herself in every job. Movie star Isabelle Adjani is unique. She is a legend with chilly rain eyes, a whispering voice, and world-shaking performances. But what's behind the spotlight? A bleeding heart woman living. One who was abandoned while pregnant, betrayed before a wedding, ostracized at Cannes, and convicted after stardom. She once represented beauty, not this world. She now symbolizes survival. Isabelle Adjani's life is a narrative no scriptwriter would create, from a teenage girl performing in the Comédie Française before 18 to the first French actress nominated for 2 Oscars and the only one to win 5 César Awards. However, she lived it wholeheartedly, rising when it seemed impossible. If you've admired French films or believed acting can reach the core of human passion, you may have adored Isabelle Adjani without knowing it. Comment if this story moved you. How do you view a lady who has experienced glory and abyss without falling? Is she successful or tragic? Click like, subscribe, and join us as we search for bright, profound, and scarred artists who have paid for true feeling.